What is up, racers, and welcome back to another episode of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode, episode number 9 today for the Hungarian Grand Prix. If you missed our previous episode of the British Grand Prix, then be sure to check that one out. A snap back to reality for us. Really, the car performed just as we expected it to, not very well, and with tons of understeer, we ended up outside the points in a pretty monotonous race, but we're looking to turn the tables around here at Hungary to put the mood right for the summer break. But as you can see, we renewed our sponsorship with Salva, and this is a bit of a bone I have to pick with the game. I hate how you have to reapply to sponsors that you re-sign. Surely it's simple to have an algorithm that allows for the sponsors to recognize a sponsor that you've kept. But in the end, I guess, we got to deal with it. So anyway, reapplied the sponsors, and here we are in the R&D screen. As you can see, we planned out our week. Quite a long break between Britain and Hungary, so we're able to get a minor drag reduction upgrade on, as well as a major front downforce upgrade, so that way we can hope to balance out the downforce, maybe fix the understeer we were facing at Silverstone. And we also buy a marketing upgrade to bring our marketing department up to Spec 1, because when we want to sign later drivers, they might be looking to the marketing department as incentive, or they'll want the marketing department to be developed enough before they accept our offer. But as you can see, as we advance to the weekend, we're getting our weekly resources input. We get our engine cover upgrade, which is a weight redistribution upgrade, as well as an ERS upgrade. Unfortunately, our turbo durability upgrade failed, and durability is something I am quite worried about, honestly. So thankfully, it's a very cheap fix, and we invest also in a minor tire wear upgrade, because tire wear, that's going to allow us to do different strategies compared to the other teams, and well, hopefully put us in better positions for points. So that's what we're going to invest in. It's rather cheap as well, and all those upgrades that we just got onto the car, we've now propelled above Alpine for 7th best team on the grid, which is good considering that we're fighting Alpine for 7th in the constructors right now. No rain expected for the weekend, which is good. The Hungaroring rain, well, we saw what happened at the opening lap of the real-life Hungarian Grand Prix this year, but as you can see, our car is lacking a lot of pace. Sato, again, is struggling, because at the minute we slap on the soft tires, we're 10th fastest around. Sato stayed pretty much where he was. And as you can see, here we are, we're going through quick practice, because I couldn't set a good qualifying time on the qualifying program. I don't know what that says about the race, but hopefully it doesn't affect our progress. Let's head into qualifying. And here we are, into qualifying. And as you can see, we're running maximum downforce setup because, well, I'm still spooked by the understeer. But here we go, onto a lap around the Hungaroring, heading into turn 4 right now. But again, it looks like the understeer problems that plagued us at Silverstone is coming back around. This time, we do go wide at the end of turn 5, but that's mostly my fault. I did straighten the wheel up a bit instead of following through. So we don't really set a very good time. And as you can see, as we advance time through the session, P21, Sato has set a better time than us. I apologize. I just ate dinner at 11 p.m. when I'm recording this. College life, am I right? Anyway, we lose the back end on our second flying lap. Thankfully, no damage somehow. We avoided doing what Carlos Sainz did in Q2 of the real-life Hungarian Grand Prix. There's a lot of parallels to the real-life Hungarian Grand Prix, which hopefully means a crazy race. We set a purple first sector. We go wide again through the exit of turn 4, but we lose the time. We gain it all back around turn 5. We go a little clattery on the curb again. But as you can see, this is a way better lap. We've put on a fresh set of soft compound tires. We're going to improve by almost 7/10. We crossed the line, but that's only P16. So we decided to go it again, and this turns out to be my best lap, so we're just going to narrate the whole thing into turn 1 now. Because of the long DRS straight, this is a great spot for overtaking, and there's a DRS zone right afterwards. We head into the run towards turn 2. Very difficult to go around the outside here. Possible, but unlikely. As you can see, into the fast right-hander of turn 3, now into the short run, up into turn 4, going over the blind left-hander, getting your braking point exactly right, and this time we don't go quite so understeery. Into turn 5, avoid that gray inside curve, because that will spin you around, even in earlier games. Do the chicane of turn 6 and 7, and now into the medium to high-speed corners of Sector 2, the end of Sector 2, which typically the Hungaroring is known as Monaco about the barriers, but now with the amount of downforce on these Formula 1 cars, they're taken pretty fast. Faster than they usually are. As you can see, we've improved our time by a few milliseconds. We keep putting our foot into the 1/10 as we go around turn 14 now. Very short lap around the Hungaroring. Go a little wide this time around. And here we go, opening the DRS across the line, the end of qualifying. And we do improve. We go up a position to P15. So in the end, didn't make it through. And we're very close to the Alpine drivers, which is good. However, we're very far. We're almost a second off of 10th place, which doesn't really give me much hope for Q2. Well, at least I'm making it out of Q1, unlike Sato. Anyway, take turn 4 actually correctly for once, and we crossed the line, and it's P4 at the moment. However, because, well, I went out very early, the other drivers went out, and we're down to P14. So now, this is the business end of it all. We have to do it. And here we go, going a little wide, we get a little unsettled on the exit curve of turn 2, and we lose the good time we made up. As we head into turn 4, we go a little too wide, and, well, again, Hungaroring, Monaco with the barriers, and like Monaco, you just need to concentrate. But as we head into the latter half of Sector 2, great time we've made up. We almost made up about 3/10, so this will put us in a good position, maybe, if we keep up this form. Going, and we spin it on the curb. Right, quickly, I'm trying to straighten the car up, because as you can see, we only have about 40 seconds left to get, and we have to cross the line so we can at least get one more flying lap. As we're going across, oh my god, there are cars just flying on flying laps. There's a Ferrari heading right for us. Hopefully we can get out of the way. And cap off a terrible turn of events. My controller dies. Pierre Gasly's up in P2. What an amazing time. P14 for us, unfortunately. Not able to improve. But what's surprising is that Lewis Hamilton on the Mercedes is out. He tried to make it to Q2 on the medium tire so we can start the race on it. His teammate Valtteri Bottas just barely made it into Q2 on the mediums. Everyone else made it on softs. So that's going to spice things up for the race. Let's just head into it and see how it goes.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of the Formula 1 World Championship. We don't expect too many retirements at this track. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher. He made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. We're northeast of Budapest for the race today at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's start with Aston Martin. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sergio Perez and Sainz, Vettel, Stroll, Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda, Hamilton, the engineer, Daniel Ricciardo and Ocon, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher and Marino Sato, Russell, Mazepin, Latifi and Fernando Alonso rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
God, I love the Hungarian Grand Prix introduction that Crofty does, and that useless stat that he uses sometimes for Hungary. But anyway, as you can see, we get promoted 2 places thanks to grid penalties given to Ricciardo and Alonso. However, Lewis Hamilton and the Mercedes right beside us. It's going to be a one-stop race from mediums to hards. And if I remember from F1 2020, the one-stop is a very powerful strategy. So hopefully we can use it to our advantage. Here we go to 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's a lights out, and away we go. And it's a decent start on the medium tires. We're trying to squeeze it between Tsunoda. Hamilton gets a good start. Ricciardo flies off the line. He's on a soft compound tire, so he's obviously going to get a better start. Into turn 1, lock up from Yuki Tsunoda. We play it very cautiously, not trying to dive down, and that helps us get a better exit compared to Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. We're going to see if we can make up a move down the inside into turn 2. Great move. We basically bumping the rear end of Daniel Ricciardo. Not really. I'm not really bumping. We're just letting ourselves be known. Enter the run to turn 4 ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, but I'm still cautious about the understeer. We go really wide, but Tsunoda gets such a brilliant exit. He squeezes us out into turn 5. We make contact with his rear, and I backed out of it because, like I said, the inside curb of turn 5, it's such an easy place to spin in the Formula 1 games. You have to be very careful. Look at this on-track battle. Tsunoda giving us a great form, and look at this movie pulls. I'm sure yep, I think it was contact there actually. So he's lucky not to have front wing damage, or even to on our end damage to our side pods and floor. As you can see, very close. Definitely a bit of a nudge there. But anyways, we end up losing the spot, and we're down in P13. This is exactly where we were around Britain. And well, we're on lap 2 now. Yellow flags ahead, and wait, that's a Mercedes going off. It does not. Oh my God, it's Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Wow. Big player in the championship out, which is surprising considering that Mercedes in real life is so good with reliability. Unless you're Valtteri Bottas, that is. But look at this. As you can see, you're going through turn, I believe that's turn 13? Yes, turn 13. You can see, wow, there's a lot of smoke billowing from the back of that Mercedes. And he's definitely being a bit of a danger as he's trying to back out of that, as you can see. But yeah, it's just uncharacteristic. It's so weird to see Hamilton DNF.
Lost power. So stop.
Like you don't expect this to happen. And so look at from Daniel Ricciardo's perspective, like he just got a smoke screen of Mercedes engine, and well, he wouldn't be very happy about that, I'm sure. But that takes out a big player in this race, and also helps us gain a free position, so can't complain about that. But now all our eyes are set on Yuki Tsunoda as Daniel Ricciardo sets the fastest lap. Obviously he's on the soft compound. We're not racing him, but we're looking to race Tsunoda because we'll be on similar strategies. And the DRS has been activated, so we're able to get closer through turn 1 onto the second DRS straight, onto the run to turn 2. Like I said, very difficult to make an overtake there, but we'll see what we can do as we break a little later, see if we can go around the outside. But Tsunoda gets better grip out of the exit, and well, I mean, the AlphaTauri is a better car than us, marginally better, but still better. So he's going to have the advantage in terms of pure pace. So we clatter the outside curb into turn 4, and we just completely mess up our run. And as you can see, like I mentioned before, if there was any track that you needed immense concentration on is Hungary, because those high curbs can really ruin your flow. So you have to get everything right. But here we go. Once again, catching up to the rear of Yuki Tsunoda, opening the DRS again, seeing what we can do to hopefully catch up to the young Japanese driver, our fellow countryman. We make contact with his rear as he tried to go down the inside, and Tsunoda slammed the door on us. We get a warning from the FIA about the collision, and I don't blame Tsunoda for that. But as you can see, how did we not get damage on our front wing? In fact, we actually already have damage on the left side of our front wing, but it was done way in advance. So I don't know where that came from. I don't think I made contact with anyone. But anyway, into lap 7 now. As you can see, our soft compound runners like Ricciardo, Stroll, Sainz are all pitting now. Verstappen onto hard compound tires because the tire wear around Hungary is so high. The hot track temp surfaces and just the abrasiveness is really killing the tires. As you can see, we're up at the P3 already, but Bottas, he's 17 seconds ahead of the pack, and if you remember, he was able to make it through the Q3 on medium compound tires. So is this an indication that the one stop is a superior strategy, kind of like in France, or I can't remember what other tracks the one stop is powerful. Spain, maybe, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm very tired. However, as you can see, the tire advantage really isn't helping me right now because as I've mentioned so many times before, the Toyota we were driving is an inferior car to the AlphaTauri. As you open the DRS, deploy some ERS, see what we can do. We're closer to Tsunoda than we've ever been before. We back out of it. We see if we can go around the outside, but the tire wear is just gone. As we clatter over the curb, we have to catch the back end, and Tsunoda extends the 2/10 gap to about 1 second. You can see what I mean when I say mistakes really can hinder you. And, well, our brief foray in a podium position looks like to be disturbed by while people like Lando and Verstappen and the others will probably... Like, I can't see them going to the end of the race on those hard compound tires. If they are, it's due to immense tire wear upgrades. But we're under pressure from Lando, and as you can see, we go really wide for no reason. And, well, Lando benefits. I mean, I'm fine with it. We're not racing Lando. There's no way we're going to be able to keep him behind, just as we're not able to keep this charging Red Bull behind. Max Verstappen having a way better time at this track than he did in real life. And, well, here we are down to the P5 already. We're going to be under pressure on faster cars, while on harder compounds, slower tires, they'll be fresher with more grip. And, well, now we're under pressure from Ocon, who's the only Alpine running in the points, keep in mind. But there's yellow flags behind us.
Okay, clear.
I wonder who that could be. I mean, in an ideal world, it would be Ocon, and it is Ocon. So, our Constructor Championship rival has an engine failure, exactly like Lewis Hamilton, just smoke billowing out of the back of that Renault engine. And, well, it's kind of ironic, isn't it, that the real-life surprise winner of the 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix in-game with DNF. Huh, it's funny how stuff like that turns out. Anyway, that's going to really help us in the Constructors' Championship fight against Alpine, because Fernando isn't even in the points.
Okay, apologies. I need to retire the car.
Copy, that was the problem.
There's something at the back of the car. I'll explain more when you're back in. Apologies.
Yeah, well, I mean, I won't complain. More prize money and more money from our sponsor if we're able to put Alpine as a buffer between us and Alfa Romeo, which is great. But here we go. We're ready to pit onto a set of hard compound tires. And as you can see, again, I don't see how Norris and Verstappen are able to get through to the end of the race on hard compound tires. That is, unless they have some crazy tire wear upgrades. But anyway, here we are into the pit lane. Sonoda, as you noticed, pit ahead of us. And I didn't really want to undercut or overcut him because I knew it was faster. So I just decided to match him and just make up the difference. And we're going to make up the difference of that pit stop. What a mega pit stop from the boys. 1.8 seconds. Red Bull mechanics. Eat your heart out. Here we are back into P9. Sliding in just ahead of Nicholas Latifi. Sato's at P11. But before you get too excited, remember they haven't made their pit stops yet. So obviously once they pit, they're going to be behind a lot of traffic. Case in point, Sato and Latifi pit this lap. So the day that I feel like Sato will reach the points will be a glorious day. I mean, that we can't deny. But anyway, heading out, we're down to P7. Leclerc, as you've noticed behind us, has pit for medium compound tires, so he's going for an audacious one-stop strategy, or two-stop, probably two-stop actually, now that I think about it. And well, he's catching us a rate of knock, because while the hard compound tires will go longer, they take longer to weather in, while those medium tires will be able to warm up and get into their operating window faster than these hard compound tires. And as you can see, Leclerc is pressuring us on lap 22, going into the chicane, and Leclerc just pops out of nowhere, and he forces us off the track. We have to cut the chicane, and well, I mean, it completely disrupted my flow, and he gets by. What was Leclerc thinking? That move wasn't on, and almost in traditional Ferrari master plan fashion, now I'm under threat from his teammate Carlos Sainz. So one Ferrari has helped the other Ferrari by completely ruining my flow. As you can see, look into the chicane. Now, you could argue I gave Leclerc the space, but I'm taking the racing line and in order to prepare myself for the curve. But Leclerc, as you can see, he goes over the high curbs, which completely unsettled the car. And rather than, like you can see, he's turning in quite aggressively, but he's not. But the car isn't responding because it's been lifted in the air by the high curb, and as a result, I have to go wide to avoid contact. Thankfully, it wasn't given a corner cut penalty, because that would have been a nail in the coffin. But to kind of alleviate my frustration, Leclerc's at the fastest lap. So just goes to show that even if I did hold him back at that chicane, him passing me was going to be an inevitable, something inevitable that we couldn't control. But looking ahead, you can see Leclerc is just flying, and Sainz is catching up to us at a rate of naught. As you can see, on these straights, the Ferrari, of course, is faster, because, I mean, if the Alpine's faster, if the AlphaTauri is faster than us, then clearly Sainz will be faster, and we can't rely on snow to help us anymore. But as you can see, I just want to show you something. You can see the delta slowly lowering, getting smaller and smaller, the gap, as I drove on. But as we head through the long swooping turns of the end of the second sector into the third, you can see that we're actually extending the gap. So if I can mitigate my losses on these straights, deploying lots of ERS, and just driving well through these corners. I mean, it sounds kind of obvious, but I mean, to be that consistent all the time, we might be able to hold off this Ferrari, which would be a monumental result, because 4 points, keep in mind, like I said, Alpine's only ahead of us by 2. So we'll take P7 into Constructors into the summer break. Here we go, trying to break the slipstream from Carlos Sainz into Ferrari. Trying to go around the outside of turn 1. Very hard to do. But we're going to channel our inner Fernando Alonso with the real-life Hungarian Grand Prix. Squeeze Sainz out and through turn 1 and hold the position. Into lap 30 now. 5 laps remaining in this race. I mean, I apologize. This race again did turn into kind of like a mundane affair of just holding position and not many overtakes. But look at Sainz. He's flying. He was way closer to us this time. But the AI leave the inside open at turn 1. So we dive down the inside and we squeeze Sainz out onto the curb. And that's allowed the train behind him, led by Lance Stroll, to catch up to us as he head into turn 2, holding off the apex to ensure that Sainz doesn't pull a Leclerc and try to pull a fast one on us. Through turn 3, a little wide, and Sainz gets a great run out of it. Into turn 4, he's trying to go around the outside. We're going to squeeze him out like Lewis Hamilton did what Fernando Alonso did to Lewis Hamilton. And there's contact between him and Stroll. We go wide onto turn 5, 2 proximity arrows. Like, this is a great fight going on. And Stroll gets his comeuppance as Sainz gives him some contact and passes him again. This is some great racing by the AI. But, I mean, I wonder if that little squiggle was actually from contact with me or contact with Stroll. But as you can see, I think in this case, it's more on Sainz's fault, because we did squeeze him a little bit, but he did ride that high curb, which, again, like I mentioned before, once you ride those high curbs, you really don't have much control over the car's turning angle. Somehow we didn't make severe contact. But, I mean, I was indebted to the racing line. I was ahead. But, ooh! That little bit of squiggling contact was Stroll just sliding past him as Sainz tried to rejoin the track. And, well, Sainz managed to get through again because Stroll kind of follows us and goes wide again. Here's a perspective from Stroll's camera, trying to go around the outside of us in turn 5 and contact with us again, which forces him out onto the sausage curb just as it did with us. And here we go, looking back, and oh, he actually made contact with Ricciardo as well. How has Ricciardo's front wing not come off? That's amazing. So in the end, I think it was a racing incident, but I don't think Sainz will see it that way, considering how much he lost.
I got a bit dirty. He did that on purpose, guys.
Right, I don't think he actually believes that. But anyway, here we are into the penultimate lap of this race, really rapidly closing. Fastest laps he's set up everywhere. We're just holding on to P8, but Sainz is looking to get that by us. He's within a 1/10 of a second. We managed to extend the bit by 2/10 through the section that we're better than Ferrari. And here we go, subtly weaving back and forth to cut the slipstream from Sainz. He tries to go on the outside, but he's way too far this time. We squeeze the apex, and again, the inner Fernando Alonso holding back that faster car. And I think we're going to hold on to the position. We're going to get 4 points, and we're going to beat Alpine in the Constructors' Championship heading into summer break. Valtteri Bottas wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, showing the superiority of the one-stop strategy, something we need to keep in mind. But before I cut back to our POV, just look at this amazing battle between Sainz and Stroll. I've said it once and I've said it again. The AI battles on F1 2021 are so good. Like, they race like real life. Look at them going side by side into turn 4. And Stroll, obviously, at the time that I was recording, the Aston Martin was a much better car than it is in reality. And he managed to get by, but look at this move. You can see just how close and on nice edge. Stroll is riding that gray curb. That is aggressive from him, and ballsy too. And he manages to get by around the outside of turn 3, side by side into turn 4. You can see them practically in it, but Stroll has the inside line. Sainz dives a little too deep, and I think Stroll's gonna be happy with that.
Let's go!
I mean, that's a little too excited, Lance, considering it's only P9. But anyways, P8 for us, back into points. Silverstone, just a glitch, and so, importantly, we not only create a barrier between Alfa Romeo and us and the Constructors, but we get P7 now over them. So in the end, an amazing day for us. Great form, great driving, great fights, and great way to end into the summer break.
Budapest then, and what a victory it is after an incredible Grand Prix. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team. and they certainly deserve it.
So Valtteri Bottas putting up a much stronger fight than his real-life counterpart. But Lando Norris, take a bow, man. I mean, obviously way better Hungarian Grand Prix compared to how it went for him in real life. Ironically, due to Valtteri Bottas. But, I mean, if you keep in perspective, since Baku, Lando's been either first or second. The only time I think he hasn't been was at Silverstone. But regardless, that's an amazing result for him. An amazing result for us too. Keep in mind, like I said, 4 points around the Hungara ring, showing just how difficult it is to overtake and how important it is to qualify well. We didn't, but that one stop really put us in a good position. Sato showing the opposite, in fact, how difficult it is to overtake. Gets passed by a few drivers, in fact, and loses the spots. And, well, I mean, in the end, like I said, while we do head into the summer break, on a bit of a high considering that we have passed Alpine, it's all due to us. Sato has contributed 0 to that points total. And, well, it makes me worried because Alpine is still close. And Alonso and Ocon are proven point scorers. Sato isn't. So that does fill me with some anxiety that this P7 that we hold is just a temporary fix. But let's not focus on the negatives. Let's focus on the positives. We bounced back from Silverstone, and now we head into the next race at Spa-Francorchamps, a historic track, one of my favorites. This is going to be a great race to return to after the summer break. And, well, hopefully we have a better race than what we had in the real-life 2021 season. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video, share the love, and keep up to date on our Toyota journey as we continue and thrive for drivers and constructors' glory. Thank you so much again. Like I mentioned, I'm the ISO Racer. Life's a marathon, not a sprint, but make sure you're always in a position to win it all. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.